Okay, so if you were watching CBS this morning, like I was, or you're watching anything else, or you've read the Times, or you've been online, you probably caught the story that Rolling Stone, that iconic magazine of the 60s and 70s and even 80s, is for sale, or at least 51% of it is for sale. And there's a fascinating article about it online or in the magazine, a print magazine, in Vanity Fair, which says that Gus Wenner, Jan Wenner, the founder's son, suggests that the future for the magazine is to pivot, that's what they say, to video. And what he actually says, I guess he's trying to attract investors, what he actually says is, Gus Wenner says the pitch he's making to investors is, I'm reading it off my laptop, is the future of Rolling Stone is online and in video and television. Well, I think that's absolutely right. I think that's right, Gus. And Jan, if you're still around and paying attention, there's no question. I mean, having grown up in the 60s myself, you know, when music was really good, not to denigrate what those kids listened to, when great bands were around, Rolling Stone was a cultural icon. And if you made it on the cover of Rolling Stone, you were made. That's because anything you want to know about music or the 60s generation or anything that was hip came out of Rolling Stone. And I think it's still pretty much true to this day. It's a fantastic magazine. The problem, of course, is magazines can't make any money because magazines are expensive. You print them on paper. By the time they hit the newsstands, the news is old already, and the internet is killing them. And of course, advertising is down the drain. I mean, they have the numbers here in Vanity Fair if you want to read about the trouble they're in, but it's a fantastic institution. The thing about a magazine like Rolling Stone or the New Yorker or Sports Illustrated or anything else is that these things are magnets for people who have a passion for the subject. I mean, if you're interested in sports, you go work for Sports Illustrated. You're never going to make a lot of money as a journalist, but that's where you end up. So you're walking through the doors of Sports Illustrated, and the place is filled with sports experts. You walk in the doors of Rolling Stone, and the place is wall-to-wall dripping with, music information. Now, how do you leverage this and make money out of it? That's the real issue. Obviously, not in print. And you know what? This is true for newspapers also, and we'll get at it for a minute. So these places are essentially, lodestones of content. And all the people who go to work there didn't go to work there because they want to become investment bankers and they went to Rolling Stone by accident because Goldman Sachs happened to be closed that day. They went to Rolling Stone and they fought to get in there and they killed themselves to get in there and they worked their tails off because they have a passion for the music business. And the same with Sports Illustrated or Travel and Leisure or any of these other things. The problem with the magazine and the print world is they're still in print and there's no money in print. The money is in television and in video. I mean, for better or for worse, the average American spends 5 hours a day watching television, and God knows how many hours a day watching video online. Mark Zuckerberg a couple of months ago said in 5 years he thinks all of Facebook is going to be video, and I'm sure that's probably true. The average American spends 19 minutes a day reading. So is it any wonder that newspapers and magazines like Rolling Stone are in trouble? That doesn't mean they have to be. The great thing about the digital revolution is that making video is easier in some ways than making print. For example, I write a lot of stuff for Huffington Post and I write a lot of stuff for my own blog, and you know what? You got to sit down and you got to write it. But to make this thing, I could have written this up. To make this thing, all I got to do is turn on the thing and go. And suddenly we have content. We're able to track the content that I do on the VJ.com, and a good written piece gets 400 or 500 readers. A video piece gets 4,000 or 5,000 people looking at it. So Mark Zuckerberg, it's no dope to begin with. It's all about video. Everything is video, and the future is going to be video, for better or for worse. All right, I understand print is I love books, and that's great, but let's talk about keeping an institution like Rolling Stone alive. The pivot to video, as it says in the headline here, and what these guys are talking about, is not a dumb thing to do. The dumb thing to do would be to make video in the magazine like they do in television stations in 1972, or most people still do it today. Cameraman, soundman, producer, editor, blah, blah, blah. It takes a ton of time, and it costs a fortune, and it's an idiotic thing to do. I get a thing on my Facebook feed from State University at Stony Brook. I like Stony Brook. Old friends of mine teach there. It's a great journalism school. So they put up this student news show that they do, and they ask for comments. And they always go, looks great, fantastic. And I always put the comment, terrible, appalling, Appalling not because it's bad, I mean it's students. What makes it appalling is that these teaching these kids in this university to make television that looks like CNN 1982. This thing is dead. The funny thing is all the students are probably making much more hip stuff on Instagram and on Facebook and on their own thing. So Gus Wenner, Jan Wenner, if you're listening to me, I think great idea to flip Rolling Stone from a print publication to a video publication. But for crying out loud, do it the way you did the magazine. When you did the magazine, you sent out reporters, you sent out journalists, and essentially you said, there's the door, there's the story, go get it. And all they brought with them was a pencil and a piece of paper, figuratively, or a laptop. So for crying out loud, do the same thing. Take your whole institution that's filled with people with a passion for rock and roll and give them an iPhone. You know what? They got an iPhone already. You don't have to give them anything. And say to them, there's the phone, there's the door, go make content. Do not get editors, do not get producers, do not get cameramen, do not get lighting guys, because it's bullshit. And you're going to waste time and you're going to waste money. Go and make video the way you've made print. And you know what? Make it personally. The great thing about Rolling Stone or any great print publication, the New Yorker, which I love, is that it has a sense of authorship. When you read something, you read from the heart of the person who wrote it. That's why people become journalists. When you watch television, it's all cookie cutter. It's all exactly the same. That's because every piece looks the same. They got the wide shot, they got the close-up, they got the thing, they got the police tape. It's crap. Let's bring to video, Gus Wenner, here's an opportunity to do something really interesting. Try and bring to video the same passion and the same quality and the same dedication of the subject that your father and you brought to print for 50 years. It's the 50th anniversary of Rolling Stone. And you'll have a product that nobody can stop watching. And if you make it with iPhones, you'll make a profit. And if you want to learn how to do this, call me, or at least come to my free session Thursday here at the Museum of Modern Art at 7 p.m. But you got to register. It's limited to 40 people. But Gus, if you call me, I'll let you in. All right, talk to you later. Bye.